Consumer reviews. You gotta love them. We can go online and read people's opinions about anything. Vacuum cleaners, toasters, dog breeds, heck, even husbands and wives. Today though, I'll review a school. It's a college I attended twice, and I have yet to see an objective assessment of it. So I will take the liberty of imparting my humble opinion on Ottawa, Ontario's very own Algonquin College. Algonquin College of Applied Arts and Technology first opens its doors in 1967. It's named after the First Nations people who lived in the area. That's impressive.
Looks like they paved paradise and put up a parking lot.
You see what I did there?
I wonder how much rent this school pays the Algonquin tribe to use its name. Truth and Reconciliation, after all, is all over their website. Oh, make no mistake, folks. Wokeism is sacred here.
With 3 brick-and-mortar campuses and another online, over 18,000 students are enrolled. Its 2023 revenue was nearly $3 billion from tuition, public funding, and corporate sponsorship. In September 2021, I enrolled in the Film and Media Production program. This sure sounded like it would be right up my alley. I was so excited to meet new people and learn new things. It would fill in a lot of my autodidactic knowledge gaps, but it didn't take long before I got a taste of things to come. By the way, since I went to Algonquin with the goal of working in the film industry, let's give this review a dramatic twist, shall we? In the online orientation, we're talking right from the start. The program coordinator, Dr. Evil, told all the students that they would need proof of the you-know-what injection.
Right.
Even then, they were still going to comply with rules of classroom sizes. Kinda makes you wonder about the effectiveness of those medical interventions, doesn't it? Anywho, I had already paid my tuition of $4,837.61. Not being allowed to attend the actual school because of the you-know-what, I was stuck with 5 online classes. Once the other students found out why I wasn't attending classes in person, I became the laughingstock of the program. I should have known worse was yet to come. During the first discussion in our film theory class, our instructor, I'll call him Goebbels, told the students, "Speak freely, we're all Marxists here." So, yeah. In October, I tried to get an exemption for the only to be told by Yoda, a security guard, that any exemptions would be invalid by November. Our screenwriting instructor, Brunhilde, told us outright that we would never succeed in the film industry. At light speed, I was being convinced of the truth of the saying, "Those who can't, teach." Apologies to all the truly gifted teachers in the world. In fact, all my teachers came across as self-loathing losers. Curiously, it was at that time when I discovered I was the only student in the program who had written and submitted a full-length screenplay through an agent. Come December 2021, I was arguing in emails with a college apparatchik called the Student Success Coordinator. Sounds like George Orwell's 1984, doesn't it? I will call him Jabba the Hutt. He would not give me a break over my refusal to take the injection. Finally, Dr. Evil and Jabba told me to drop the program because I was a nuisance. I withdrew just before the end of the semester. A very short time later, the injection mandates were dropped, and I received a $5 refund. That's out of $4,837.61. Oh, woke Algonquin, why hast thou forsaken us? By declaring everyone a Marxist. Why hast thou imposed thy syringe poison? How many students have died or been injured by this mandate? We'll never know. In fact, the Trudeau government admitted 1.2 million student permit holders into the country at the height of the pandemic. None were forced to get the shots. Did Algonquin force them? Or was the tuition money more important? It's a mystery. There exists many types of assistance for all forms of student disabilities. The Ontario Human Rights Code mandates that colleges reduce tuitions or offer other forms of help to people with permanent disabilities. Even those on the autism spectrum get a break. Ironically, yours truly is an Aspie, but chooses not to use it as a crutch. So here's to you, Algonquin. You kicked out a person you describe as permanently disabled. And using ignorance as an excuse doesn't justify bad behavior. Now, you may be thinking I am just some disgruntled, isolated customer out of 18,000. So my opinion isn't worth much. But if you buy a vacuum that doesn't suck, and the store won't refund your money, wouldn't you like to hear about it from someone first? Or a lamp that won't light? Or a toaster that won't toast? What are the odds that I'm the only person out of 18,000 with such an experience? Now, on to my second little stint at Algonquin. In September of 2023, I was accepted into the script writing program. It cost me $3,750. What a colorful cast of characters this program had. Act 1 was the writing for TV class. It had a failed comedian teaching a subject he knew nothing about. We'll call him Pupkin from The King of Comedy.
Schmucko Supremo.
Pupkin used our class like the bad comedy act he was. Every student became a cheap joke. He was a heavy dope smoker and stunk like it. Later on, he would accidentally show us porn in his slideshow. At least he claimed it was accidental. Act 2 is our writing and digital media class. The instructor's name for this class was Uncle Fungus.
Uncle Fungus?
He had clear symptoms of dementia. He needed 5 minutes to form a sentence. Sometimes he would dismiss us after 15 minutes because he forgot what he was doing. Maybe next time he can run for president of the United States. At least he's qualified for that. Uncle Fungus managed to teach us nothing about the Canadian Screenwriters Guild, even though it was on the curriculum. Am I being unsympathetic to this poor man? Sympathy has nothing to do with it. This is a consumer review. This is about value for money. Sure, students brought up Uncle Fungus to the program coordinator, Maleficent. Maleficent was 100% aware of Uncle Fungus's condition, but let it go.
Oh dear, what an awkward situation.
She says she was waiting for the college to find a replacement for him. After a lot of wasted time, she came up with Dumb and Dumber. 2 replacements. Both arrived midway into the second semester. They completely changed the projects for what Uncle Fungus had lined up for us. Talk about confusing the students. Act 3, meanwhile, the plot thickened. Pupkin pitched us a stupid idea about a failed escort service. In other words, he was using us as feedback for his own failed career. Then he accidentally shows a photo of some guy's junk to the class. As I mentioned previously, yes, this was Algonquin at its glorious professional best. Following complaints to Maleficent from a few students, Pupkin told us to complain to our student rep.
What are you talking about?
In Act 4, Dumb and Dumber didn't teach much, but they did blab on a whole lot about LinkedIn. We were also supposed to learn about how to create our own websites, but Dumb didn't teach us anything on this. In fact, it got to the point where students had no clue as to what they would be marked on. Mr. Dumb instead told us to drink more coffee, for some reason. I'm sounding a bit random here. It's because the whole program was a bit of a mess. Oh yeah, after Mr. Dumb's talk about LinkedIn, he ended up saying that we would probably not get hired as writers via LinkedIn. Nice, huh? His colleague, Mrs. Dumber, wasn't much dumber, but was really cranky and tyrannical. To her, our LinkedIn accounts were all that we were supposed to be marked on. That is apart from her wasted lectures on grant applications. I kid you not, these instructors lectured for hours about script contests and writers' grants. In other words, they were teaching us how to beg rather than how to be good writers. They taught me that people of ethnic and sexual diversity had an advantage. I was told by a fellow, highly diverse student that Asperger's was no longer a recognized advantage. Who needs it? But be you a member of an oppressed minority, and the world is your oyster. Well, I came to Algonquin to learn, and learn I did. Act 5 of our depressing little play came with all the thrills and spills I came to expect of this academic train wreck. For those of you with better things to do, like cleaning your toilet, I'll wrap this up as fast as I can. One of Maleficent's duties was to find every student a field placement. I asked her for months about this, and in the end, I was the only student not to get a placement. The issue went all the way to the top of the college. Queen Olga of the Sacred Order of Marxist Nuns managed to have it all turn around, so her minions could blame me.
He thinks there's an eternal reward!
A lowly, tuition-paying student for not graduating. You heard it right, all this, and I never graduated. Never got the certificate that I could take to a potential employer. Pity, but there is a happy ending. The happy ending is my unique badge of honor for not graduating from this Hegelian nightmare of a so-called college. For all of its woke propaganda, its priority is making money and indoctrinating people into woke neo-Marxism. I've now proven twice that a student who doesn't follow the party line is persona non grata. Yes, there are two sides to every story, but history doesn't hear much from the losing side, does it? Would I attend Algonquin College again? Sure, if it paid me. I'm sure it turns out a few plumbers here and there. It's good for that. Maybe someday we can find a way to flush this cast of characters. Or look at it another way. I went to Algonquin College, so you don't have to. If you're wondering what happened to Act 7, there is none. This is my sneaky way of saying it's in the same place as my diploma, which is nowhere. Now that you've heard me rant about Algonquin and what it failed to deliver, let me give you an opinion of what it should have done. Rather than pandering to ideological goop, it lays the basic foundation to make writers of us. It gives us the elements of style. It opens for us the beauty and the power of subtext, metaphor and character development, foreshadowing. We're graded on our discipline to write and to finish, and on the quality of our concepts. For nonfiction scripts, we're graded on our research and delivery. For fiction, on imagination. It's competitive with winners and losers. This compels us to excellence. We study great script examples and analyze them. Someday when our education system washes up on the shore of reality, its woke carcass will be left to rot in the hot sun. Maybe there's a story in there somewhere.